Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome to my explanation video of Dr. Pershing in The Mandalorian Season 3. Why is his episode exactly important, and what role is that furthermore importantly going to play in the future of The Mandalorian Season 3, and even potential continuous seasons, The Mandalorian Season 4, Season 5, and even then other shows, such as the Ahsoka show coming out later this year. Ahsoka is going to be the next big live-action Disney Plus show after The Mandalorian Season 3. We also have the Book of Boba Fett and also Star Wars Skeleton Crew, so there's a lot to keep track of at the end of the day, and that's what I'm here for, covering it all here on the channel for you guys, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. In this video, we're going to be taking a read from the Direct's article. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. As a read, Dr. Pershing popped up during The Mandalorian Chapter 19, possibly hinting at his character as the key to not just the future of Jon Favreau's Star Wars series, but tying up loose ends from the sequel trilogy as well. Season 3 of the hit streaming show is airing now on Disney Plus, bringing with it a whole swath of characters from across the galaxy who are making their return to the series, including Bo-Katan Kryze, Peli Motto, and most recently, Dr. Pershing as seen in both seasons previously of The Mandalorian. Dr. Pershing was last seen in The Mandalorian Season 2 finale, being taken prisoner by Boba Fett aboard the Slave One, revealing the location of Grogu, who had been kidnapped by the villainous Moff Gideon, to Pedro Pascal's Din Djarin. Now, the good, or in this case, the bad, Doctor is back, having appeared in the latest episode of The Mandalorian, Chapter 19. Dr. Pershing is seen going through the Amnesty program on Coruscant, being reintroduced into the New Republic life after years of working for the Empire, post the Galactic Civil War as well. And so, while the character doesn't seem to be harboring any truly evil ideas, he does miss his cloning work, thinking maybe somehow his research could be retrofitted to help the New Republic. However, after an attempt alongside another former Imperial officer, Ellie Kane, to retrieve lab equipment goes wrong, Pershing seemingly has his mind wiped with a mind flare, with Kane being the one to manipulate the mind flare-like device, cranking it all the way up and really wiping his mind. Pershing finds himself strapped to ensure he remembers nothing. However, what could all of this mean for the franchise and the Mandoverse in this particular Disney Plus series moving forward? Dr. Pershing, wanting to pursue further research on his cloning work, brings up a few interesting points for not just the future of The Mandalorian, but where the Star Wars series goes from here within the timeline, Season 3. Cloning has been a hot topic as of late, with The Bad Batch Season 2 tackling a lot of the same ground right now as well. But Dr. Pershing specifically could easily be the key to how Emperor Palpatine ultimately comes back in the form he does in The Rise of Skywalker in the sequel trilogy. For years, The Mandalorian showrunner Dave Filoni has been taking some of the more mangled Star Wars content and legitimizing it by a supplemental storytelling. He did it with the prequel era as well with the Clone Wars series, and now it looks like he and Jon Favreau are doing the same for the sequel era, which is honestly really interesting and cool. In Chapter 19 of The Mandalorian, Dr. Pershing talks about being on the verge of a breakthrough, just as he was taken in by the New Republic. What exactly could he have been referring to though, however? Well, that breakthrough could be the creation of the perfect Palpatine clone, with rumors swirling that Andy Serkis's Snoke, a seemingly imperfect Palpatine clone, will make an appearance in this season of The Mandalorian, a rumor that we've covered before. Dr. Pershing being the connect to doing the cloning of the Sith Lord could make a lot of sense, of course, seeing of course how experienced he is. And from what audiences saw in The Rise of Skywalker, 100% perfect facsimile or copy and paste of Palpatine was never complete. Snoke was close though, however, and the version of Palpatine that takes on Rey and Kylo Ren at the end of Episode 9 was even closer, but the work looks to have remained unfinished even then. This year all being said, what was Elia Kane's Mandalorian motive here? Why was she doing this behind, Dr. Pershing and tricking him essentially into stealing lab equipment to get him arrested and then to have his mind wipe? Well, there's a number of theories out there, and some of those we've even covered in our breakdown video here on the channel that you guys can check out now. However, as the director course, article has an answer for this with their kind of take on this. All of this will leave many asking, why did Katie O'Brien take matters into her own hands at the end of The Mandalorian's latest episode, looking to have wiped Dr. Pershing's mind absolutely clean, rather than leaving it on a low setting with the mind flare? Many fans out there are speculating that the character is somehow also Palpatine or Sith related, with subtle Sith-esque music cues soundtracking the character at some moments that can be noticed especially throughout this episode as well. And when Dr. Pershing meets Kane in Chapter 19, he is hellbent on using his cloning knowledge for good, and if her Empire allegiance remains as strong as it seems to has, then she would not want Dr. Pershing sowing the seeds of what he was doing with the New Republic. And so, with the mind-wiped Doctor in her hands, Kane might be able to use a Dr. Pershing to further her own, or even just the Empire's interests, to potentially start back up the program working toward a perfect Palpatine clone. Kane could perhaps set up shop for him once again under the employ of Giancarlo Esposito's Moff Gideon as well. So I really believe as a Star Wars fan that at the end of the day, her motives behind all of this and wanting to, trick Dr. Pershing is because she is still working for the Empire, or what's left of the Empire, and that she was trying to give them the upper hand, and to comparison, of course, letting this research continue on with the New Republic, and them, using this cloning technology and ability to anything for their advantage at that. Cloning soldiers or something like that, I think, is probably one of the most probable things that we could see with the New Republic doing, as we saw in the prequel era with the Clone Wars. Now from there, that is where the article concludes, and as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have this article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. I am beyond interested to see, where these characters are going to go forward, especially Dr. Pershing. Like, I hope this isn't the end of the road for him, although that seeing that his mind would be wiped with this mind flare, technology and everything like that, he kind of seems useless. He's on a clean slate, and he can kind of just go about doing, his regular business and going back to being a normal civilian pretty much, although it's honestly really depressing having your mind wiped and the entirety of your life probably wiped. However, as for Elia Kane and her character going forward after, completing this mission, I'm honestly very interested to see, what she's going to do next. And as a fan theory, I think what she's going to do next is start planning, or, even doing, breaking Moff Gideon out of the New Republic system, out of the New Republic jail there as well. Now, something that we also learned from this episode, though, however, is that Moff Gideon also had his mind wiped potentially. However, not as much probably. Anyway, of course, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. This has been Unofficial Star Wars. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.